So somebody asked me to comment on the referendum that's going to happen on International Women's Day, the 8th of March here in Ireland. And if you're not Irish, just to let you know, our government has decided to change two parts of our constitution. One changing the family, and another part deleting women from the constitution. There is a special place for the work that a woman does in the home, raising kids, and it's a vital part of our society. But our woke government has decided to have the constitution change. Now, this is on the back of other constitutional changes where we redefined marriage, and we introduced abortion back in 2018, increasing abortion rates from 2,000 a year, where people travelled, to 10,000 a year here in Ireland. So, of course, the government said nothing was going to increase, but anyway, you have to believe the government all the time. What are my thoughts on it? And I think if you're looking at my channel, you're probably an Irish Catholic. You probably know the score. Do I need to tell you? We're replacing family with durable relationships. Durable relationships. So if you're an Algerian man, he has 3 wives. That's a durable relationship. If you've been married with those 3 wives for 20 years and you've kids with them, that's a durable relationship. I don't see where it's defined in this change in the constitution. So look, our woke society is going to, traipse off and debate this and be deflected, and we'll spend the next 6 weeks talking about this, and they'll drag in the odd conservative voice into the debate on our national propaganda channel. What are my thoughts on it? Well, do you see what this thing is? It's called a bone. Well, this is kind of the fake bone that you give to dogs. It's a bone. Okay, so our government at the moment has decided, let's deflect the Irish population from the real problems in our society, like the fact that a lot of young families can't buy houses, the fact that they have flooded this country with uncontrolled migration. And I'm not xenophobic. I do not hate foreigners, but I'm just thinking about 2 or 3 steps down the line, how, for their safety and our own country's safety, how this may impact our society. So they've sent off this political bone. They're getting the celebrations ready in Dublin Castle to come out there like they did in 2015, like they did in 2018. Let's do the celebrations. On International Women's Day, let's delete women from our constitution. Let's redefine the family in our constitution. So this is their political bone that they've sent off. Go off and bite on that. Squabble it among it yourselves. This is the political bone. The masters of deflection. The Irish government really are masters of deflection. We see in Britain there is a COVID inquiry. Where is our Irish COVID inquiry? Oh no, hey, chase this bone, guys. Stop talking about COVID inquiries. We had a doctor called Tony Houlihan, who had more power than 10 archbishops in Ireland ever had. The government bowed down to them, the church bowed down to them, the population bowed down to them. What Tony Houlihan said is God's word in the Irish population during the COVID era, and you couldn't question him. That's the big thing. It's amazing. And then we had in the European Parliament, they brought in the executives from Pfizer. And again, on this platform, you have to be careful what you say. But the European Parliament brought in the executives from Pfizer. And they said to us, maybe, can you show us the random control trials regarding your vaccines as regards to stopping the transmission of this disease? Go and look at that interview. Just dig it out. Where Pfizer talks about their random control trials as regards the vaccine stopping transmission of the disease. Because our government was segregating us by vaccination status. Vividly remember I couldn't go to a cinema because I didn't take it. And it was just interesting what we heard then come out in the European Parliament. And in our own country, has there been a COVID inquiry? No, because we have a bone here. Guys, we're throwing it out there. Deflect. Go and fight over that bone. 8th of March is coming. Get out there. Deflect. Deflect, this is the Irish government for you. As regards uncontrolled immigration, which is happening around Ireland, and again, I'm not a xenophobic. I do not hate foreigners. Obviously, I don't. People that know me personally know the score on that front. But I need to be honest with you guys, the Irish public here, the Catholics that are looking at my channel. We are on the eve of World War III. They are speaking about it in Sweden. They are speaking about it in Germany. NATO is building up its presence in Europe. Its arms in Europe. Russia has tactical nuclear missiles stationed in Belarus on NATO's doorstep. So the fact that there is no talk of peace happening in Ukraine, which happens to be the country which has the largest ethnic Russian-speaking population outside of Russia, no talk of that. The millions and millions of Russians which there, and again, I'm not condoning the war in Russia, I'm just stating a fact here. We had to change our constitution to remove claim that Northern Ireland was part of the Republic. We had to vote in Ireland, the Good Friday Agreement, to remove claim to allow the largest ethnic population outside of Britain, I'm just relating a fact here in Ireland. We had to grapple with this for 100 years. And yet, there is no peace agreement happening between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine, which happened to have the largest Russian-speaking ethnic population outside of Russia. Ukraine, which is governed by an actor who grew up speaking Russian as his native language, wasn't Ukrainian. That's a fact. And again, guys, so we're in the middle of this World War III. We have strikes against Yemen at the moment, the Houthis, which are supported by Iran. We have Russia using Iranian drones to strike Ukraine. We have China obviously gearing up to invade Taiwan. Does anyone think in their right mind that China's going to say, there you go, Taiwan, off you go. You're not part of China anymore. Our policies have changed. Does anyone think that that's going to happen? The facts remain that we are on the eve of World War III. It's the truth. I remember back in early 2020 when the whole COVID thing was kicking off. I was in the office and I was speaking to a colleague and I say, I can see this escalating very quickly. I can see this, and we were just saying, yeah, it's like World War One. Oh, it's just a duke off there in Sarajevo. It's not going to impact Ireland. It's just a duke. It's just some Habsburg that they happen to have killed. How's that going to impact Ireland? It's just Poland that Germany's invading. Is that going to impact Ireland? It's just the east of Ukraine that Russia's invading. Is that going to impact Ireland? It's just an island out there in Asia. Is that going to impact Ireland? When the war kicks off, and it will happen very fast, very quick, Irish supply chains are going to be decimated. Mark my word. It's not me here that can see the future. It's not Robert Nugent, a prophet. It's Robert Nugent that has worked in business for 23 years and understands how our supply chains work, especially regarding Irish companies in Ireland. When the war kicks off, Irish companies, their supply chains are going to be drastically impacted, especially when we're getting goods from Middle East. Do we get anything from the Middle East? Oh, energy. I wonder, what's our backup plan when energy goes down? Minor thing. We'll just turn on the nuclear reactor we have in Ireland. Oh, sorry, we don't have a nuclear reactor. We'll just use the oil that we have, our oil reserves that we've been... Oh, sorry, we didn't develop our energy infrastructure in Ireland. It's fine. It's okay. Anyway, back to the realities. So when this war kicks off, which it will, make no mistake about it, guys, it will happen. When this war kicks off and our supply chains go down in Ireland, what is the next consequence of that? Massive increase in unemployment. As Irish multinationals, which are globally connected, which have supply chains globally, are impacted. This is going to happen. It happened during COVID. Do we think that this is not going to happen during a world war? As the East and the West divides. So you currently have the Suez Canal under threat. you've people going around the Horn of Africa and trying to redesign their other supply chains. We saw Tesla in Germany shutting down production because they can't get goods quick enough. They can't get their parts. And I think Europe and Ireland are naive in their thinking. If China goes to war, do you think China allied by Russia, do you think China is going to prop up our economy, the West economy, NATO's economy? Rare earth metals that are so important from electric cars to microchips. Just think, minor thing, microchips. Where do they make microchips? Oh, Taiwan. We don't need microchips. Everything, from people don't understand how important these supply chains are, and when they get disrupted, how drastic you're going to face this disruption. And while our government is off there with the blog, we're changing families, we're deleting women from our constitution. Follow the bone. Don't worry about COVID inquiry. Don't worry about how we mismanage the economy. Don't worry about mass immigration. Follow the bone. When the war kicks off, our supply chains break down, our massive increase in unemployment as companies cannot function, and resources become tight in Ireland because our government is worried about cow farts that they're culling our food production. And again, I'm just putting my business mind on here. What the government should be focusing on is strengthening our economy, because when all that happens, and when resources are tight, and when fuel is rationed, you can't go and fill your car only once a week or every second week, or you get a quota for 20 litres of petrol or 30 litres of diesel, which will happen. When that happens and resources are tight and people feel the pinch, they will start to focus. Oh, there's a hotel down here we're paying for 300 people. Oh, these Algerians that are down in this centre, well, why are we paying for them? Sure, Algeria isn't at war. Let's all put them on a plane and out of here. This, and it's not me thinking, and I'm not saying we should do this, but this is what will happen, because this is what happens in times of difficulty and trial, and when resources are tight. People were saying, well, we've been here for decades. This is our home. We're funding you. And you're from which country? Well, maybe time to go back there, because resources are tight in this country. And again, guys, we had 2 world wars. The second one, Ireland wasn't involved in the war. We were neutral. We're not getting involved. People remember, we had rationing. I mean, where does our goods come from? Where's the majority? Like your blueberries from Chile, your tea from Africa, your coffee from, your chocolate from here. All imported. Fuel. Our energy. We are not, even though we are independent, most of our exports go via NATO controlled areas. All it takes is one bomb in Rotterdam from one of the, something like this, and you will see how drastically Europe changes from one moment to the next, from one day to the next. And our government has thrown out a bone to us all to go off on the 8th of March. Wake up. And again, as a Catholic blogger, I'm just relaying how the dominoes will fall when they do fall. Is NATO gearing up to allow Putin win this war? No, they're not. There's been no discussion on peace, because if there was a discussion on peace, they'd be cutting funding. There's no discussion. Iran is in this. We see Israel is in the war in Gaza. We see strikes in Lebanon. We see strikes in Syria. We see strikes in Yemen. We see the war in Ukraine, we see China gearing up. It's the truth. I'm the voice of reason here. And Ireland should be preparing itself, strengthening its food supply and energy supply. How many months can we survive without steady imports of oil? What happened? Because people fail to realize, if you look back in the last two wars, they did, there was lots of strikes on carrier ships and ships like this. Our sea transport now is not what it was 50, 60 years ago. We have massive freight containers, freight carriers, massive, colossal freight carriers today. And you take out 2 or 3 of those freight carriers. Actually, if you just took out one of those freight carriers, the Evergreen. Remember the Evergreen was stuck in the Suez Canal? You know how it impacted your supply. You take out 2 or 3 of those freight containers, which can easily be done by those that want to destroy, to impact Europe. Your supply chains collapse very, very, very quickly. Your pharmaceutical supply chains, food supply chains, high tech or car manufacturing supply chains. This is very easy. Ireland is very, very vulnerable to what probably will happen. And so I'm just saying, when that happens, when resources are tight, when you have mass unemployment in Ireland. So we just look back to 2008, the last crisis, we saw this wave of mass unemployment. Imagine if that happened today. Where does the focus turn? On those that us Catholics obviously will stand up and defend the vulnerable. But not everybody has that vision. And the finger pointing will quickly go to asylum seekers, to asylum centres that we are paying for. That I'm just saying this could happen and escalate very, 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 very quickly. And so at the moment, it's all fine. It's all fine. The government is fine. Our supply chains are fine. We're sending the government has sent out a political bone to deflect from COVID inquiry, which never happened in Ireland, to deflect from the fact that we are paying for these massive centres around Europe. The government said at Christmas, it's fine to go home for Christmas, and then come back after Christmas, after their Christmas. Guys, wake up. So that's my comment on the referendum that's happening this March. It's one of those useless political bones. Durable relationships. Define that. Let's delete motherhood and women from our constitution. Off you go. I'm not going to vote for it, obviously. I don't think most Catholics are. It's just a political bonus deflection. Are women going to be any better off on the 9th of March in Ireland? Are they? Are they going to be? Is the government going to support women? Is the government going to do what it did in Hungary? Like if women have 4 more children, they're exempt from income tax for the rest of their life. That's a massive bonus to many people. Is the government actually interested in the family anymore? I really do think that they are sleepwalking the country into disaster by not preparing the country for the real threats to our economy. Energy security, food supplies, and what happens when half your population is out of work because companies cannot function. What happens? Think about it. What happens? What is your plan B? And they think, oh, you're conspiracy theorist, Robert, you're conspiracy that. No, I'm a man of history. We had 2 world wars last century. What happened in Ireland? We're on the brink of another world war. We are on the brink of NATO build-up in Europe, NATO expansion in Europe, which is happening. Russia's military build-up, Russia's weapons build-up in Belarus, in Russia, in Kaliningrad. all it takes is one spark. All it takes is a shot in, all it takes is one spark. And things could escalate very, 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 very quickly. And the Irish government is not prepared. It's not prepared the country for this. And that's my fear. We saw these protests, in Dublin before Christmas. That's nothing compared to what could happen when our supply chains break down. When people panic, and your Lidls and your Aldis and your Tesco's and your Dunstores, panic shop, which could happen, guys. What plan does this government have? And people can't see the chess moves, the potential chess moves that are going to happen in this game. So that's my thoughts on the referendum. And I'm, as I said, I'm not a prophet here. It's my reflection. But as somebody who works in business for 23 years and understands business, understands supply chain, understands the risks to Irish business, I think the government is utterly asleep. Utterly, incompetently asleep. I think they're asleep, especially the Green Party. And I hope the Irish farmers can get a political party together to actually save this country. Our focus should be on maintaining and stabilising food supply in Ireland, energy supply in Ireland. What happens? As I said, this is very real. This is very possible. When things break out and people take sides, this could escalate very, very quickly. So anyway, my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. But that's my 2 cents on this Irish referendum. It's a little bone. Distraction. Let's distract you from the real issues, Irish population. Distraction. Hello, little distraction here. Go off and chase this. Go off, chase that. Distraction, deflection. Masters of it. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.